All right, what up, fantasy people? We are live. It's the Sunday Tinker. It's week 12. We got lots of action. I got my buddy, my friend, my compatriot, Anthony Carante here. What up, Anthony?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Good. So we finally got no early games. Do you like the London Germany games on Sunday?
I do, just because I like watching football as much as I can. Especially now that I have two kids. I'm up early anyway, so it's nice. I enjoy it. But people that sleep in, especially people on the West Coast, that probably stinks. I'm over here on the East Coast, so it makes it a bit more palatable.
I think that's the real problem. Like, yeah, what is it, like a 5:30, 6 a.m. California time, West Coast? So
I think it's 6:30, but yeah, you've got to get up pretty early.
I might not like football that much.
Right. Yeah.
But I like them. I miss them because I get up. I always got a lot of stuff to do, and then I got that 9:30 game. Then watched it for a bit. We could do this, and then I go back to watch it. Although I didn't win much money. Let's see about Brian. Brian, all right, hair's on point. It's my new bit. I wonder if you're doing your hair in the morning. Like, I wonder what John's gonna say. I can't imagine.
Looking good today, buddy.
Thank you.
What up, Brian? How it goes?
It's all right. My dog decided to have diarrhea in the middle of the night a few times, so
gross.
Sleep is on a minimum.
That is gnarly. We're just
My
talking
kid
about
had diarrhea in the middle of the night too, so I feel you.
Do you like we got no London game. Do you like the early European games?
I almost never watch them.
Okay. So to know. Okay. Cool.
Really? Why not?
I mean, I'll watch like the end if it's close, but I will almost never like turn on and watch it beginning to end. It's just that's not like my routine for a Sunday morning, so that's just not what I end up doing.
Okay, fair enough.
That makes sense. I'm only usually watching because I make a bet.
Fair. That makes everything more entertaining.
Yeah, I make a little bit of money for the 1 p.m. slates, but yeah, it is kind of brutal where it's like then it hits the afternoon game, second half, and it's like, man, I've already been watching football for feels like 9 hours.
See, I love it.
Yeah, I like the morning to like get my life ready for the week, and then I can do nothing.
I hear you.
Smart. So yeah, anybody who's just jumping in, if you are on Twitter, come over to YouTube, give us a like, give us a question. We got week 12. We got 2 weeks till fantasy playoffs. How is everyone doing? It's in the SportsEthos League. Is everyone in playoffs?
No, I'm towards the bottom of the league. Dak Prescott getting hurt and the Cowboys being lackluster even before that really kind of killed me. I built my team on the Prescott Lamb stack.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it just hasn't really worked out for me. I did get 2 pretty good late round running backs though, in Pollard and Stevenson. So that's not that certainly wasn't the problem with my team. It's just Dallas really kind of let me down this year in that league.
Yeah, for the stack king, it's tough when they pretty much got.
You live by the stack, you die by the stack. When you miss, you miss.
Brian, what do you managed CMC for 10 weeks, but I think you stayed alive being active.
Yeah, I mean, I love my team now in that league, but yeah, I got lucky at the beginning with CMC. I was like one of the lowest. I think I was the lowest scorer and was still like maybe 4-4 at one point with CMC out, and then obviously he came back. But like I also went for Chubb, I went for Hawkinson, so like it was pretty much injured. And then I just got really lucky with beating teams that were also crappy at that week, and now I'm at 6-4, and I'm 7th. I think we have 8 people make the playoffs in that 16-team league. So I like my odds there.
Sometimes it's all about the schedule.
Yeah.
And the schedule maker. So yeah, you've lucked out there. You've clawed your way through that league. Again, you took a couple of guys that were starting out on IR, and then you lost McCaffrey for 10 weeks. So good for you.
Thank you. I do. One of my like long time leagues that I've joined that I've been in just did the thing where you have 2 matchups each week. It's
I like that.
Yeah, you have your top 6 scorer for one matchup, and then your normal matchup. Yep. So if this were that league, I would be at the bottom with you.
Yeah. I'd be at the bottom either way. It just hasn't worked out.
So, well, it's something I've always kind of wanted to talk about. Do you guys like having a lot of different stipulations in a league? Like, I think if you are the team that has the most points scored against you and miss the playoffs, like you shouldn't have to pay your entry fee.
I think things like that are interesting. I haven't heard of that one,
I
but
just made it up.
I think there are different things that can be interesting with that. It just kind of depends on the league and the league activity. Obviously, if you got a bunch of guys that are talking every day, every week, and making a lot of trades and moves, and yeah, kind of the stipulations are fun because you always kind of have some sort of rooting interest at that point. But that's an interesting one. I've never heard of that. How many leagues do you do that in?
Oh no, I just invented that.
Oh,
I've never seen it, but it'd be nice. It'd just be nice. Oh, like last place would always have a punishment. Brian, you got something from some stupid league?
I mean, I don't, so we don't really do last place punishment just to keep people involved. We do every week, top scorer of the week gets a minor amount.
I love that. I think those are great.
It's probably like 20% of your buy-in, maybe less each week. So then even if your team sucks, you can still try to kind of claw some money back just by having some good weeks. The league that I just switched over to the 2 matchups each week, we used to just do top scorer between seeds 6 through 12 got in. So I like that better than like if you were scored a bunch on, because maybe you were scored a bunch on, but your team also sucks. Like, then I don't think you should get your money back, that type of thing.
That's true. That's a good point.
so is that like that sounds a lot like something my league was talking about, where like the last spot in the playoffs goes to the team with like the most points or what have you?
That's exactly what we do. Yeah.
Okay.
For like the 6th seed.
Yeah, it's just the reserve for the most points remaining,
Yeah.
most points scored remaining, regardless of your record.
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
We did. Me and my buddies are our big money league with Luke Wilson, fellow tight end who I just made a trade with. What up, Luke? If you get first place and score the most points, it's like a double buy-in.
Wait, what?
The thing that confused me about that is, but then like, because I like to have everything set payouts wise beforehand. So do you then take that out of like first place? Do you take that out of like playoff winners or stuff like that?
Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's probably pretty rare.
Yeah.
I think we just made it amongst ourselves anyways, but that's what we're fighting for. So that's why I just made a trade that screwed my 2 buddies that are in that bet with me, and then made my team worse. So let's get into week 12. So we got the Giants releasing Daniel Jones. I just thought he might go to Vikings or Ravens. Anthony, so what's the 411 or something cooler when that happened there? Because that seemed to be a bit of a mess.
So from what I've seen, because I've been all over Giants, Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it, they benched him. Obviously, they signed Tim Boyle. There was a whole thing about Daniel Jones playing a scout team defense, scout team safety. I saw something this morning from a reporter that Jones actually volunteered to play scout team defense. I guess like they were looking for a body real quick, and Jones kind of just like was like, "Hey, I'll go out there." But they ended up releasing him. He asked John Mara, co-owner for the Giants, he asked to be released, so they just kind of did right by him. It means that they'll take on his full cap dead hit next year instead of splitting it in half. It's like $22 million. Okay. They could have split it in half between 2025 and 2026 by making him a post-June 1st cut, but they're taking it all on next year. But it does free up, I think, almost $20 million, like 19 and change. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I root for the guy. I like the guy. A lot of respect. He never really blamed anybody. Always kind of just took accountability, said, I need to play better. It's on me. So a lot of respect. He showed up every week, tough as nails. But the Giants move on to Danny DeVito, who was pretty fun last year, but still probably not very good. I think the Giants are probably just evaluating if he's going to be the future quarterback too.
Did you call him Danny DeVito?
What was that? I meant to say Tommy DeVito if I said Danny DeVito.
I just wrote Danny DeVito in a blurb and had to go back and change it.
I do that sometimes, even in my head. I think Danny DeVito just turned 80, by the way. Happy birthday, Danny DeVito. But yeah, I mean, Tommy DeVito's fun, but I don't know that he's actually a good quarterback. I think the defense played really well when he was the starter last year and they won some games. But I mean, we'll see. Probably just better for everyone to rip the Band-Aid off. But best of luck to Daniel Jones elsewhere. I would love to see him back up Lamar Jackson. I think that would be a really good spot for him. And they don't have, I mean, they have Josh Johnson, who hasn't played in a while, I don't think. So that's kind of where I'm at with him and the Giants and whatnot. They stink. So it is what it is there.
Brian, how many teams would Daniel Jones start for? Let's say if he could go anywhere.
I don't know about start. I mean, they're like he'd start for the Raiders. He'd be 49ers starter this week.
Yeah.
Cowboys? I mean, he's over Cooper Rush. That's what, like, I jokingly, as an Eagles fan, want to see him go to the Cowboys just for fun.
Carolina?
And out. I don't know if he makes that much sense in Carolina. Like, he might be able to start, sure. I think he could win that battle. I just, like, I think from everything I've heard, it seems like Anthony's kind of on the same page as he's just like a stand-up human, and I think he's going to be one of the best backups in the league for another 10 years. Like,
wow, okay.
I really do think he's just a solid player. I would love for the Eagles do stuff like this too, where it's like, oh, Kenny Pickett, no longer a Steelers guy. I would love for Howie to pick him up as a backup. I think he's a good guy. He's low-key fast. I don't really think it's low-key, but he's white, so that's what people say.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think everything I've heard is he's great in the film room too, and especially as a backup. That's kind of what you need, is somebody who can diagnose stuff in the film room and then help your starter. So maybe he could start on like 4 or 5 teams. Like
I'm thinking maybe Tennessee, maybe Jacksonville if Trevor Lawrence remains out.
Yeah.
I mean, teammates love Daniel Jones. I think he'd be great for any locker room. Rooting for his success, but it would just another guy going to the Eagles. I don't know that I could pal with that.
But we're a fantasy pod, so if you have Daniel Jones super flex, drop him, keep him, stash him.
I'm going to see where he signs first.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you can wait a week, like he's probably going to sign this week. Otherwise, if you're desperate, I wouldn't mind dropping him. Like, most likely he's going to end up on the bench of a better team. I see him – I do kind of see him getting picked up by a better playoff team as a backup over getting picked up by some team who's just going to end up drafting a guy next year. Because, in my opinion, the better career move is work on being a backup for a good team. In, like, the Mitch Trubisky route where he went to go back up Josh Allen, and then he got a chance with this, I forget, was it the Steelers again that he got a chance with? But players who then go back up good players, it's almost, or good teams, good players, it almost ends up like helping them more, in my opinion, than trying to start somewhere else and failing.
They learn what it's like to be in a winning organization and a winning culture. And I think that is, I agree with you. I think that's the best move for Daniel Jones's career. Take the next 7 games plus ideally the playoffs to just learn what a winning culture is like, because the Giants haven't had that in damn near a decade.
Plus, we've seen reclamation projects, right? Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, right? These guys get tossed out, thrown around in the mix a bit, come back better, stronger, a little wiser, right? So, like, even if he goes to Minnesota, no chance he's, like, ends up starting for them. Like, how bad would Darnold have to be for a couple games?
I don't think he starts without an injury, unless Sam Darnold reverts to the guy that saw ghosts in New York. I just don't see them starting Daniel Jones without an injury.
Okay, let's move on to the other QB who's making headlines, who is not quite as good a guy and beloved locker room leader. And although I love Aaron Rodgers, I'm a big Rodgers guy, but we're not going to get political here. Brian? So what's the deal there? I just saw something that it might be overblown. He's not getting MRIs. He's hiding injuries. He got everyone fired. They might release him. They might kill him. Like,
to be like, this is the stuff I don't follow. I mean, just like, there's just so much like could happen. This might happen. In my opinion, if like, especially like at this point in the fantasy season, I just try to like, I don't have Rodgers on any of my teams. I'm not streaming them at the moment. Like, so I just kind of have blinders to it. it's like this is almost like the NBA of the NFL, where like NBA is just all like fun and drama, and it's like this is kind of the end of the NFL, and that's the part that I don't know. Like for some reason, I like it way more in NBA compared to NFL. But
okay,
I mean, there's so many what ifs. I'm not making any fantasy moves based off of it. I'm just kind of letting him stay on the wire. If he's hurt, he's hurt. Like he's a quarterback at some point, but
let's talk it out logically then. Like, what's the value of just getting rid of, like, dropping him? Right, you're tanking, just to prove a point. Because I mean, it's still New York. It's the Jets. Wouldn't it make even if they're not going to use him, keep him next year? Wouldn't you want to maybe finish the season on a good note? Keep Garrett Wilson happy. You don't want to lose. The entire locker room.
I mean, yeah, it's from the logical standpoint. It is how does me cutting him help the rest of the team? Maybe he's a distraction, maybe not. I'm not in there. I think it does show that you're done. I mean, the record also shows that they're done for the year, but it almost shows that you're giving up for a pick. And in the NFL, it's, in my opinion, it's like, it's just difficult to kind of show that you're giving up because it's a pretty high contact sport. So if you're not in it, then people are just going to start sitting out if they're slightly banged up. I don't think it's good for the team as a whole. I think you've seen that Lions team that like 2 or 3 years ago, they ended up knocking Rodgers out of the playoffs. Now look where they're at. It's like teams who end on that note, I feel like end up being able to use that to move forward a lot more. I think teams are going to end on tanking. It just doesn't work out as well unless like it's just accepted and we're all going for a quarterback. I don't even know if they're going to try that. I don't know their plans, but
vibes are real. Okay, so other route. What if they release him? Could he actually end in Brock Purdy's shoulders back? Actually, worse than they're saying because they're liars. San Fran, could Rodgers be going home finally?
I mean, that would be cool. Anthony, you're muted.
But when we talked about Daniel Jones, he wouldn't start. Rodgers could still start for what? Maybe half the league in the right system. No,
I don't know.
Half the league at this point is, I don't know about half the league. I mean, there's probably
Gino or Rodgers.
Gino.
Okay. Tua or Rodgers.
Tua.
Okay, yeah. I'm still pretty high on Rodgers then. Okay, that's enough Rodgers. That's enough QB drama for that. We got some questions. What model? I wasn't able to check it out that hard, Brian. Who do we like this week? I know you like the Dolphins guys, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty high on a lot of Dolphins guys. Just to defend myself, I was very high on a lot of Detroit guys last week, so that worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, that did work out pretty well.
Yeah, Dolphins guys. I'm trying to think what else. Sorry.
Are you high on the Lions guys again? They've got a nice little matchup against Indy.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a nice over-under.
The other thing about saying I'm high on the Dolphins, like now saying I'm high on the Lions guys, like yeah, of course I'm starting Gibbs, Montgomery,
sure,
Amon-Ra. Yeah, like even Jameson Williams, I'm pretty happy on. I know somebody asked that in our Discord. Was like, I'm Jameson over, I forget who it was, D-Hop and somebody else. But I wasn't that. I'm not over D-Hop, but I was over someone else. But Jameson I like just because of the big plays. I actually like the Colts a little bit more now as a result of them playing Detroit because I just think there's going to be a lot of garbage time in that game. So like Anthony Richardson, I'm pretty high on this week as a result. He's just going to be running around like a maniac and chucking the ball deep. And it's almost just like a mobile Jameis Winston at that point, but just entertaining.
So we got the questions piling up. We're going to get to them in just a second here. Anyone on, remember YouTube? Twitter, come to YouTube. YouTube, stay on YouTube. Don't go to Twitter because then you can ask questions. Anthony, so you watched that Thursday game. We were talking about the weather before, how it was supposed to be bad, and then it wasn't going to be bad, and then all of a sudden game starts. You can barely see the game because of the snow, and then it doesn't even really matter. The total goes over, right? They're still slinging the ball around. What did you take anything away from that game other than Jameis is a badass?
Not really. I other than Jameis is a badass. I think he's a pretty serviceable QB2 for superflex leagues. Not a ton I took away from that game. I think it was, I don't want to say obvious, but I think that there was some speculation that it might be a trap game for the Steelers, playing on the road in division, things like that.
They
I
were
think the
5-0
biggest,
against the spread the last 5, right? Everyone's back in Steelers. Just perfect rush time to let you down.
yeah.
But so are you? Well, there's the weather because we're gonna have bad games coming up. Let's say if it was in Detroit, Indy, even though they're both domes, let's say it was hypothetically snowing there, like it was Thursday. Would you bench Goff? Would you get scared off some of the receivers? Do you care about weather, or are you more like, you know what, I'm playing my guys?
I pay attention to the weather to a certain extent. For that specific example, I probably wouldn't do a ton different. I think you're starting Amon-Ra regardless. You're starting the running backs. Obviously, I think they're probably a little bit better in the snow or a bad weather game. But it kind of just depends on the team. Like if it's like a borderline, someone like I'm thinking about starting, and it's gonna be, and there's projected to be like a ton of snow in that game. Maybe I'll go to the other guy that's maybe similar value and playing in sunny Florida that week or something. So it'll maybe be tiebreaker for guys that are close in tier and value, but I'm going to start my studs pretty much regardless, unless we're expecting like a monsoon somewhere.
Because Brian, we were getting kicker questions, right? Whether to bench the Steelers kicker because of the snow, right? It was crazy.
I mean, yeah, he did miss 2 kicks, but I mean, he made 2 as well. Like he was fine enough for fantasy, and it's like, do you want to drop a kicker that you love for?
Yeah, no.
You got an 8-point performance. It's pretty average. So, yeah, the only thing that I think I really took away from that game watching it was like they were very hesitant to start throwing it in the red zone once they got there. Like once they got in the red zone, it was pretty much just like, I'm not risking anything. I'm just going to hand it. I mean, maybe it was just because it's Nick Chubb. That could easily have been the reason, but it was just, I'm just going to hand it off, or I'm going to do a play action boot where maybe if someone's there, or I'll be Jameis and jump and get destroyed but score. Like that's the only thing about those kind of weather games. But like first half, it was fine, it looked like. And then like I feel like once it turned the second half, that was when like you legit couldn't see. It was just.
But that's where all the points came from.
Yeah, it was just it was like mania. Like, just like no one knew what was going on. It just looked like backyard football, which was fun to watch.
You couldn't see the Steelers players. Okay, we're jumping into questions here. All right, guys, thanks for being patient. They're piling up. Let's get to them. Pay attention. Oh, never mind. Okay, Bryce says pick one: George Kittle, Dallas Goedert. This should be maybe not so easy. Kittle missed last week. Goddard gets a little bump with Devontae Smith, so it's actually a little closer. Brian, you are the Philly guy, so is there any way you're going Goddard over Kittle?
Yeah, I mean, I just updated my model with Smith out today, and I now have Goddard over Kittle.
Oh,
as a result, but I mean, he's their second, maybe third option now in the passing game. So Brown's number 1, and then if you think Barkley's over Goddard or not, then that's kind of the in between there. But I just think he's going to get the ball a lot. There's going to be a lot of opportunities, and it's a solid enough matchup.
So this is a classic floor ceiling, right? Anthony, right? Goddard probably decent floor, but if Kittle, Brandon Allen's not terrible, or maybe he just looks for a safety blanket rather than goes deep, right?
I'm not benching Kittle. Is just my answer. He's been Brock Bowers might have overtaken him to be the tight end 1 this year. Excuse me, but I'm just not benching George Kittle. He's been. I think he's had a good floor all year too. I'm trying to look it up now.
Scores a touchdown every game. He's been amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, it's George Kittle all the way. I think if you have a questionable flex start, I think Goddard could be a great flex. And if you have almost anybody else, you're probably starting Goddard, but I just can't bench Kittle.
Yeah, I guess you would have to. I don't know how the Rams are versus tight ends. If they were maybe bottom 5 or something, now we could be talking. Or what's like when AJ was out, was Goddard playing better? Like, is he really stepping into that 2 spot? I was going to ask Brian because he's watching Philly.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, it's just when, like, I feel like when one of those three is out, you can count on you can count on one of the Goddard, Brown, Smith. When one of them is out, you can almost guarantee like the other two are going to be solid. So it's almost always shown up that way.
Okay.
And one thing to kind of think about is, so Devonta plays more of like the slot role, and Goddard is a great blocker, so he still plays inline. What they tend to do is get Calcaterra on the field more in 12 personnel. So, like, I think that if you're like desperate or in a deep league,
Okay.
I do think Calcaterra is a solid, maybe even DFS bet if you want to go really cheap on tight end, because he ends up running a lot of that slot role, and then they just go 12 personnel, run it, and if they see matchups they like, then they'll pass out of it.
I do remember when AJ got hurt. I was like, oh, Johan Dotson time, let's go. And then he just kept throwing. I was like, who is this Calca what?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go. We got Wayne T. Morning, guys. What up, my man? JSN or Marvin Harrison? And I ask this every week. Knicks or Mahomes? Okay, well, let's go. Brian for the first part, Anthony for the second. JSN, Marvin Harrison.
I have JSN like very slightly over. He's 2 ahead of him in my rankings.
Okay, and if Jason was here for vibes, is this head-to-head matchup?
I mean, I just like the idea of Marvin Harrison being the number one more.
Yep.
But so vibes, I'm probably going Harrison. I think JSN's proven to have a bit more of a floor recently because Gino's just been kind of slinging it around. Gino's probably the most underrated quarterback in the league at the moment to me. But
okay, so really can't go wrong either way. I mean, right there head to head. JSN's kind of one part of a 3-headed dragon. It's Marvin Harrison against Trey McBride. Game script. I guess Arizona's probably. I think it's gonna be a tight game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have JSN ahead in PPR leagues, and I have Harrison ahead in half PPR.
Yeah. So.
Like they're very.
So I guess Anthony, do you want to? Let's say I'm going to go JSN. He's going Harrison. Be the tiebreaker. Both are my guys, actually, JSN and Harrison.
I think they're both great. I think I would probably lean Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison. Okay. Yeah, it's close. And then Knicks Mahomes. I know you're the Bo Nix guy because well, not really. Just your home road splits just opened my eyes. Now it's the only thing I care about.
And he is on the road versus Las Vegas.
He is, but he's been a little better on the road lately.
He has been.
Knicks Mahomes is my favorite fantasy question of all time.
Wayne, you're killing me. I'd probably lean.
You have to go Mahomes. It's Carolina.
Yeah, but see, Carolina gives up a ton of rushing yards as well. So, but I'm going to lean Mahomes. He's been playing better since the calendar turned to November. Knicks is on the road. Yeah, I'll take Mahomes.
Okay, but if Knicks goes home to Vegas, you're going Knicks?
Yes, I think his home road splits have been that drastic, except for maybe recently he's played a little bit better. Yeah. But as a whole, I think that's a big difference in Knicks every week.
Okay, we're staying Mahomes. It sounds Brian's going to do something crazy.
No, I actually have Knicks pretty low on my rankings. Okay, this is also kind of a personal thing for me because I have a situation between Richardson and Knicks. Where would you, just even between Knicks and Mahomes, where would you slot Richardson in there?
I would put him. The Lions is so tough because I feel like the Lions are going to put up 45, but are the Colts going to put up 28? Right. So we were talking about the correlation between rush defense, rushing QB defense. So, but they don't have it. I would probably go Richardson over both because at least I know he'll run. But I don't know. Maybe
I'd lean Mahomes over Richardson, and I'd put Richardson over Knicks this week. That is.
It's tough. I like Mahomes, kind of Carolina, right? There's gonna be red zone opportunities, right? If Pacheco was playing, then I'd feel like I'd get rid of Mahomes because they're just gonna go Pacheco and Hunt, right? But I'd have. It's tough because is Mahomes getting up for a game in Carolina, or is he just gonna win by 8? Right?
They are 10.5-point favorites.
Yeah. Well. If you ever bet on Kansas City on the road as a big favorite, you'll know that they've never covered. Okay, we got to keep going here. Jeezy Baby 43. What up, Jeezy Baby? In my deer stand.
He's a hunter.
Hunting season.
What? I don't. Okay. He's in his deer stand? Oh, God. You Americans. Standard League must have week. Okay. Do I gamble Amir Abdullah or DJ Moore, right? So I don't know. Did we get firm Zamir White and Alexander Madison out? I know they're doubtful.
Yeah, I saw they were both trending towards out. I didn't see any.
Okay, let's assume they're out. And then we got Chicago. We got DJ Moore. We got the new OC. But I don't know. Anthony, are we gambling on Amir Abdullah?
If we know that
Standard league, so no PPR, right? So
if we know that both White and
we're assuming they're
Madison are out, then I'd probably plug my nose and do it. Despite DJ Moore having the better matchup, the Bears' passing offense has just been so hard to trust lately. At least Amir Abdullah is going to get the ball.
Yep, that's true, I guess. Brian?
I'm just not putting my weeks on Amir Abdullah to succeed.
Okay. Broncos rush D's decent, but at home, right? O-line pick up a bit. I mean,
Broncos defense is, I think, very good. So that's just another, they're projected 17.5 points.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that's I'm just not really going to bet on Amir Abdullah, DJ Moore. I don't think either one of them you're going to be happy with, but no. I'd be happier losing with DJ Moore than losing with Amir Abdullah.
Okay, who's more likely to get you 10 points?
Probably DJ Moore.
Okay, so
I feel like Amir Abdullah. I feel like it's Amir Abdullah. Unless obviously the rookie Dylan Lobb suddenly gets the majority of the work, I think Abdullah's safer to get 10 points because I just think he's guaranteed. Like I said, he's guaranteed to touch the ball. I think at least 10 times.
I've heard DJ Moore might not planning on Lobb getting a lot.
Did you?
If they're going to be out, which to me just means, all right, let me just project it 50-50 and see what happens. And then none of them look good if I project it 50-50. So unless you think Abdullah, unless you know something we don't know that Abdullah is going to be the lead guy, then maybe. And even in that case, I'd only probably do him I wouldn't do him in a full PPR league over Moore. I'd only do probably half or standard over Moore. But okay. I think it'll be pretty split. So I'm saying.
Okay, let's go game script wise. Do we like going against the Vikings or the Broncos? At least Vikings, they're a pass funnel because the rush D's good, so that gives more a bit of a bump. But honestly, I haven't been able to watch Chicago this year, right? Caleb's just kind of killing me.
Guess which game has the higher over-under between Minnesota, Chicago, and Denver, Vegas?
I mean, Denver, Vegas has to be like 38, and then maybe the other one's like 42.
You have them flipped. Denver, Vegas. This is according to, I'm on the ESPN, so it's ESPN bet, I guess. Denver, Vegas is over under 41.5. Minnesota, Chicago, 39.5.
Wow. I mean, both gross. Okay. So we are saying we don't know. I mean, I like DJ Moore, so I'm going to trust the name, right? At least opportunities. Minnesota's better than Chicago, so they're passing, right? Maybe the new OC, but I'm just worried that Flores is going to blitz the hell out of Williams. That O-line can't hold up, and he's going to be under siege. So, but I still like DJ Moore. So I'm taking the guy I like versus the guy I kind of only barely know about. Okay, clip next. Hey, guys, start 3, bench 1. Okay. Start 3, bench 1. Okay. Quinn Johnson, DJ Moore, Josh Downsworthy. Well, you're benching DJ Moore. No. Who are we must start? Who we must starting here? I think we have to start Josh Downs for Jason.
Yeah, that's the one.
To me, it's Josh Downs and Johnston.
Yeah.
I think he's looked pretty good recently. Like, I would be debating between Worthy and Moore. And in my opinion, I'd go Worthy just because I feel like it's higher upside. Or you get, it's just a better quarterback and better offense. So I would probably end up benching DJ Moore in this one. But
Yeah, I think.
I do think Quentin and Downs are the autos.
Yeah, especially Ravens, right? That game's going to be dope too, right? I think Herbert's playing quarterback. Who's playing quarterback better than Herbert right now?
Lamar, other than last week.
Well, that doesn't count. Last week.
Lately, yeah, Lamar, yeah.
No, but Lamar played a bad game, and then last week was Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. So if you have a bad game, you can't be playing the best. So that's how the game works. But okay, so we're saying bench more because I think Worthy maybe 5 touches, 2 of them might be touchdowns versus Carolina, right? He's probably going to catch a deep one and then run like a reverse. Okay, so everyone's bench DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm between. I mean, it's the same thing. I'm between him and Worthy. Yeah. I guess Worthy's probably the higher upside play.
Yeah, I just think if any game you're going to start Worthy is against this terrible Carolina team, right? Where it's just they're bad at tackling, bad at scheming, maybe have given up. All right, Anthony. All right, we're going to go same place. The time cop thing. In a full PPR league, Quinn Johnson, Jameson Williams. Okay. Also in the same league, J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Jones. Okay, let's split this up. You get the wide receivers. Quinn Johnson, Jameson Williams.
You asking me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Anthony crime.
Johnston or JMO? I will take. I think JMO's been a little bit more consistent.
Quinn Johnson's been really good. Got Ladd McConkey's too questionable. Who's got the better matchup, right? We got
that pass defense is also terrible. McConkey is questionable.
Yeah,
that'll probably push me to Quentin Johnston, to be honest.
It's
and close. The Ravens are atrocious at defending the pass. So yeah, I'll go Quentin Johnston, but I do feel pretty good about both of them this week.
Yeah, Brian, my boy JMO, who's now your boy.
Let's do a fun little. Where do I have Quentin Johnston ranked this week? Just take a guess.
22nd.
It's either
it's either like 7th or 85th.
Anthony was closer. It's 14th.
14th.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm pretty high up Johnston this week. I have Ladd even higher than that, but if Ladd's out or if he's banged up, then that would just push Johnston up even higher.
QJ, let's start.
Is he the secret fantasy, waiver wire guy of the year, last round pick that nobody even talks about?
I mean, if he goes off for playoffs, I feel like those guys are the ones who end up just going off in the playoffs. So, I mean, he's you wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be dumbfounded if Herbert ends up winning MVP this year.
I've been saying that for weeks. You see my point?
So, and if he does, then I just think Quentin Johnston could win some fantasy leagues for people. So,
yeah.
There's always that guy you need every year that emerges, and maybe it's Quentin Johnston.
But also, Ladd McConkey is really also the one dominating. So, I watched that game.
Ladd's more like your underneath. He's more your PPR guy. Johnston's been the one scoring in the big plays.
True. But we saw last week when Herbert needed a completion, he's thrown to Ladd. My brain stopped. Okay, second part of the question. All right, Brian, J.K. Dobbins or Aaron Jones? All right, Aaron Jones kind of breaking down. Dobbins just had that game-winning touchdown, but Ravens are a top 1, top 2 rush defense.
I have Dobbins slightly ahead.
Wow. Okay.
I guess. I mean, it is kind of a revenge game for Dobbins.
Okay.
That's not too much, but I mean, I have them 2 apart. So to me, it just Dobbins, I guess I'll go with comfortably. Jones has kind of been breaking down. I feel like he's been banged up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to. I love Jones in a game where they're not favored because I just feel like he gets a bunch of dump offs and game script works out better for him. I think this could be a J.K. Dobbins, Derrick Henry game, just back and forth of man football. But I'm slightly Dobbins.
Okay. Anthony?
I'd go with Dobbins as well. But I am paying attention to the Chargers backfield now that Gus Edwards is healthy. He should be working his way, getting some touches. Excuse me. Greg Roman likes him from their days in Baltimore. So while I'm going with Dobbins this week, I'm watching that backfield to see what happens moving forward, moving towards the fantasy playoffs.
Okay. I think I'm going Aaron Jones here. I mean, I only like Dobbins if like Quentin Johnson gets tackled at the 1. I don't see, I see the Ravens probably being up, Herbert catching up. Either Dobbins is going to have like 15 carries for 38 yards, but if he gets in, great. So I go, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones if I have to, but I do not like playing running backs against elite rush defenses. I'll do anything to avoid it. Joe Mixon, like 2 weeks ago, he had like 26 carries for like 52 yards. All right, Albert Marroquin, Kyler or Goff? The eternal question. Brian, so we got Arizona versus Seattle. That's a nice matchup for Kyler. Detroit, Indy, great matchup for Goff, right?
I think Goff's your floor play. Kyler's your ceiling, but I have Goff rated higher.
Okay.
They're both pretty close. I think I have Goff at 5, Kyler at 7 for the week. So both are great options. I'm just leaning towards Goff in this matchup.
You are? Okay. I think I would go Kyler because I feel like Goff, like Indy's such a run funnel. This could be the Gibbs, Monty, 200 rushing yards, 4 TDs, and Goff is just chilling the whole time, right? He's like 12 of 13 for maybe he gets 2 touchdowns. Kyler's going to be involved. I guess James Conner could get ripped. I'm going Kyler. Anthony?
I'm going to go Kyler too. Detroit just runs the ball so much. I mean, Goff could, go for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns again. Indy's definitely a defense you can do that on. But I think, like you said, John, Kyler Murray's just a bit more – I think he's a bit safer because of the rushing floor as well. So I lean that way, but both are great plays.
Yeah, just Seattle's defense has just been pretty, mediocre.
Isn't that for first place in the division, that game?
Is it? That's gross.
I think it is.
Who do you like in that game if you had to pick Arizona, Seattle?
The home team.
Yeah, because Seattle's just coming off that Niners win, right? So
I'm gonna take the Cardinals in that game.
Okay.
Weren't they like 1-point favorites?
Seattle's a 1-point favorite.
It moved then.
Probably because it's in Seattle.
I don't back Kyler on the road. Fantasy, I will. Not if I'm putting my money. All right, Harsh, Shamit, Verman, Kendrick Bourne, or Waddle. This is gross. PPR, bye week's hitting hard. We already talked on the Thursday pod. Brian really likes the Miami passing attack this week, and nobody likes Kendrick Bourne, especially the New England is like the only team that always plays Hill hard. He never goes off, so that would mean Waddle goes off. PPR. Does anyone want to go back for Kendrick Bourne?
No,
it's Waddle and a Waddle off. I mean, that's easy. Why you have Waddle projected? What, Brian?
I've had to double check these projections way too many times because Miami's so high. I have Waddle at wide receiver 4.
What?
Oh man, I'm not laughing at you, but he hasn't had a performance like that all year. He has the talent to do it, but
maybe his whole career.
This is just the perfect, again, a lot of my work is based off yards per point.
Yeah.
And this is New England's the perfect matchup for that. And so pretty much every Miami player is super high in my projections.
Where's Hill? Waddle's 4.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
Tyreek 1.
He's your 1. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Johnny Smith is my tight end 3. So everybody is high.
So start your Dolphins this week.
Yeah. But let's say you had to bet on that Miami game. What are we betting? Miami 2 yards, Miami points, just team total.
I mean, it's a yards thing. It's not the points thing because the points are. I just take points from Vegas on Wednesdays. So whatever the Vegas point total is, it's based off that.
So 2 passing yards.
Yeah. I have, what do I have projected? 360 passing yards and 200 rushing yards. So I have them 550 yards.
Jeez.
Math is the math.
I don't even know how much I trust this math. I almost kind of discounted it, but I was like, screw it. I'll just kind of
So Devon A. Chain, rush receiving.
Yeah, I mean he's
It's gonna be like
Everyone's going over.
115.
Everyone on Miami is going over.
Yeah, A Chain's like number 1 by I think 6 points in the flex rankings.
Holy smokes!
7
points.
Or it's never mind, 6.5.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony, can you pull up the props on FanDuel for the Miami game? Well, I'll hit the next question.
Yeah, I'll pull it up on DraftKings.
And then
either way, yeah.
And we'll compare them with Brian's because maybe we all make some money here, or Brian's kicked off the podcast. Either way.
What game do you want?
The Miami New England.
Miami New England. I'm on it.
We gotta play some catch up here though, Brian. So he goes, you pay attention to wind more than anything. Oh, yes, for weather. Yeah, wind. Yeah, that is the secret sauce. Rain, not that big a deal. Snow, not that big a deal. Wind, big deal. But sometimes it's hard. There's wind, there's gusts. So boss man, good morning guys. With Josh Allen on a bye, who do I start? Bo Nix, Anthony Richardson, Matt Stafford. Well, I mean Matt Stafford versus the Eagles. Brian, can we do that? I mean, game script. He's going to be slinging it. He's got 2 guys.
I still think it comes down to the people we talked about earlier, which was Bo Nix and Richardson, and we all, in my opinion, I feel like we all agreed Richardson over Nix.
Yeah.
Stafford, I just don't like that matchup. Yes, he's great QB, great options. I just would rather kind of the rushing floor from one of the other 2, and Richardson, I just feel like is a bit better of a matchup, but.
I'm sure you've seen these, but the Cooper DeJean lockdown numbers are insane.
He's not even their best rookie corner.
I know, but I saw like it's like 12 yards. Did you see him catching the sticks that drop?
Yeah, he's a freak. Have you seen him play basketball?
He caught all the sticks with the same hand and didn't drop them. Everyone else was dropping them using 2 hands. He caught everyone 1 hand.
Anthony, you're muted.
I don't even know what I said, to be honest.
Okay, so we're saying, Anthony Richardson, because we already said over Bo Nix, and then it's you can't really do Stafford, the Eagles this week. I think he's going to get the garbage time because the Eagles are the best team in the NFL right now. But it's just Puka or Cup, or one are going to go off, probably not both. All right, Victor Blanco, Amir Abdullah, Austin Eckler, Roshan Johnson, pick 1 PPR. Anthony, do you have the stats? We'll get to this in a second.
Yeah, I have the Dolphins Patriots.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll catch up on questions and then we'll hit those. Cool. So what do you like here? So Eckler had 8 catches last week, which was great, but that's probably a bit of a one-off. Roshan Johnson might, because DeAndre Swift is going to play, but he's banged up. And then we talked about Amir Abdullah, who I don't think anyone spelled his name right yet.
I don't know that anybody has either.
I don't know how to spell it, so
probably just going to go Eckler, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like it's a higher floor, and with that offense, probably a higher ceiling too.
Yeah, I look like Roshan though, but Eckler is just the much safer option. Probably the higher ceiling, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't want to be starting the RB2 against the Vikings. So yeah, Eckler. Yeah, Eckler's the move. Eckler. Okay, Jacob Ander, Ertz or Hunter Henry at tight end. Brian, is there any way we can do Hurts? Because if Miami's gonna light up New England, technically that means then New England's playing catch up, so they're going to be throwing. We know Drake May loves Hunter Henry. Ipso facto, what do we like?
I mean, I love Hunter Henry to finish between tight end 3 and tight end 9 every week. He's the number 1 target on that offense, so I'm going him. They almost have like similar target, they get targeted in the same part of the field. It's just Henry's targeted more than Ertz, so I'm just going Henry.
Okay, and then so this is kind of a nice flip, right? Because we got Ertz is playing Cowboys, who are a nightmare. So he should be open if Dana wants to find him. But Henry's playing the Dolphins, who are an elite pass defense, but playing negative game script catch up. Like, which situation do you like more? Shitty defense, good defense, but guaranteed passing situation.
I'm going to take the better role and the better player. They're probably about the same as far as player goes. They're both good, but Hunter Henry is the one. there. So I'm with Brian there. Give me Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry. Yeah, Ertz is just too old to trust. But yeah, okay. Joe Burrow. Yes, Joe Burrow is great. Is that the question? Clip next? Did I miss something? Clip next. Bench one. Joe Burrow. Oh, best QB in the league. Yes, Joe Burrow. Good call. Yes, Joe Burrow is playing better than Herbert, but he's not winning.
That's the defense's fault. Joe Burrow had, what did he have, like 300 or 400 yards and 5 passing touchdowns, and they still lost.
True, but he missed the 2 point. I mean, I'm saying you want to be the best, you got to win the game.
I hear you. I'm with you. He's playing.
It's not like the Chargers team is that much better than Cincy's.
He's playing great football, though.
Yeah. Joe Burrow, good counter. I respect everybody. Everybody respects Joe Burrow on this podcast. All right, Mo, then you. What's up, fellas? Montgomery or Tyrone Tracy? Thanks. I wanted to talk to something about this. All right, Anthony, you're the Giants guy. What are we doing? Is there any way you can play Tyrone Tracy over David Montgomery this week?
I think that there is, because the Bucs defense is bad everywhere, but I'm not going to, because David Montgomery scores in every single game he plays.
Yep. Unless I bet it.
Well, don't bet it this week, because I'm recommending that Mo the New starts Montgomery, so I need that to be successful. The Giants could really, I mean, we talked about the Daniel Jones thing, and they're starting DeVito and blah, blah, blah. They could really it could just completely go downhill.
So Anthony, what's the Giants? They got DeVito. They're obviously not going to have Merritt out. Neighbors has got the groin. He's going to play. But if you had to, like, Tracy or Neighbors to start this week, who would you start?
I think I might start Tyrone Tracy because of the guaranteed volume. All you have to do is hand the ball off to him. You don't need to rely on getting the ball to him more than just handing it to him. So I'd probably lean Tracy, who's been a really good running back. It's a shame you can't start both, but I would go Montgomery. Just the safer option on a better offense that runs the ball more times than not. Like I said, he scores in just about every game he plays.
I think it's like, what running backs would you start over Montgomery in this situation, right?
There's a handful, but that's about it.
Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Devon A-Chain, obviously.
I'd probably start Gibbs over Montgomery just because I like the ceiling that Gibbs provides. But like I don't know that there's 10 running backs I'm starting this week over David Montgomery.
Yeah, okay. And then there's always the worry that box off the bye, just light up the Giants. Tracy gets game scripted out a bit. They start put Singletary in for passing situations, right?
That could be it too.
That's just a possibility. I mean, right? We gotta, it's the Giants. Don't rule it out. But Brian, I was going to quickly ask, what's the history with QBs? If they switch QBs, do your team get a bounce, a little energy? Because they like Jones. Because when you fire a coach, they always cover, play well the next. But when you replace a QB, do you get the same bump?
I don't think there's anything like you can kind of tie to. I know the coach bump is like a thing for sure, but just the narrative behind, from what I've heard also out from like beat reporters and everything, which is like how much they like Jones. So I don't see it being like it's not Cleveland where everyone hates Deshaun Watson. You get a bump, like everyone likes Jones, so I don't see there being too much of a bump here.
Okay, I agree. And then Anthony, I saw something at the Daboll presser where like Slayton was yelling or crying behind the scenes because he loves Jones so much.
I didn't see that, but I know that Slayton has been a big Daniel Jones guy.
Yeah.
I think he put out a message of support for him or something. But no, I didn't see that specific tidbit.
Okay. So, Calvo, what's up, guys? 2 questions. Tracy or Debo? I think we both got to go Tracy, right? I mean, Debo, Purdy's not going to get the 252 touchdowns. They'll run it, but they'll run it with CMC, Mason. I don't think Debo gets any rushing bump, right? I don't think we can start Debo this week.
Who is the starter in San Francisco this week? Is it Brandon Allen?
Yeah, Brandon Allen.
Is that his name? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start Tyrone Tracy.
If Purdy was healthy, I think I'm still starting Tracy.
I'm probably going Samuel in a PPR, and I'll go Tracy in a half.
Okay.
I respect that.
I'm going Tracy. Bucks are been terrible against the run this year. As long as the Giants can hang around, Tracy could 2,100 is probably what he should get, right? Addison and Jameson. Okay, a couple wide receiver twos. We got Minnesota against the Bears passing, which is really good, but taking a little bit of a hit lately. And then we got Jameson, big play Jameson. He seems like he catches a 40-yard touchdown every game. Addison scored last week. So does anyone want to take Addison over Jameson?
No, I don't.
Right.
I like JMO this week. Addison's too inconsistent for me. He's good. He's a talented player. Better suited for best ball this season, in my opinion.
Nice. Good call. Good call. Yeah. I mean, it's just every highlight I see for the Lions is Jameson running downfield scoring, and then Amon-Ra catches like an 8-yard touchdown. So they are a dangerous team. Okay. Stafford or May? Well, I don't think this is pretty. This is kind of tough. Two elite pass defenses, right? Dolphins and the Eagles. Both guys are going to be playing catch up. Anthony, what are you thinking here?
This is just a gut feeling, but I'm going to go with Drake May. He's looked like he has that legit it factor at times. So gut feeling, I'm going to go Drake May, I think.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's like a ceiling floor play. I think Stafford has the floor. Like, yeah, it's Eagles defense, but it's also Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Puka. Like, it's
at
a
home.
bit different.
At home in a night primetime game, right?
Yeah, like it's a bit different than what the Eagles have been going up against recently. May looks awesome. I think if I were picking a QB out of all the drafted ones this past year, I think I would go May first over Daniels and Williams. I just think he's looked like he has the tools that'll go further. I think Daniels is probably the highest floor, but not the highest ceiling. I think May is probably the highest ceiling.
Over Daniels is crazy, by the way.
Not for I'm saying not fantasy, but as like a QB I want to start my franchise with, I think
even crazier.
May's like 3 years younger than Daniels.
Okay. All right. Less crazy.
Daniels did 6 years and May did 3.
Okay. I love May too. No, he looks great. But so
maybe 2.5 years younger, but he's significantly younger.
What? 2?
I said maybe he's 2.5 years, but I know he's significantly younger. Yeah.
I'm gonna go May here. He's gonna run, right? If he gets that 50, 60, 200 yards. I know Nathan's best bet was May passing yards over for that game. The Stafford, that Eagles D, I'm just not. I don't want to bet against them right now. But
I mean, as an Eagles fan, I have a bad feeling about this game.
Yeah, well, of course.
You know why?
You don't know why. Every week it's I got a bad feeling about this game. You guys win by 30.
Rams have looked better as of late. They had a pretty rough start, injuries, and now they've looked better. Their defense is young and getting better each and every week. I think it's more of a toss-up than the Eagles being favored. But
no, Eagles should be favored. But if he's as good Stafford, he's got game of the year potential. Because we know, right? Eagles are going to light him up, and if he's just doing his, cup Puka thing against rookie cornerbacks. Okay, we gotta wrap up shortly. Plus, I want to get to this couple bets. So we got Victor Blanco. I've got Neighbors, McConkey, both in my flex. Going to go with Neighbors. But do I risk South? Do I risk Seth McConk or just? I don't know what this is. But do I risk sitting McConkey or just plug in Belve or Nick Westbrook?
I think the question is he wants to know because McConkey may or may not play. Does he wait until Monday night or does he just put Vele or Westbrook Akine in?
I'd say I'd be shocked if McConkey doesn't play. He seems like he's pretty tough. It's just a shoulder. He's a wide receiver. Worried maybe about him aggravating it and getting hurt in that game. But I'd say McConkey's going to play. So both in my flex. I still don't understand. So is it Neighbors? So you could just start Neighbors and be done?
I think he's got 2 flex. He's got 2 flex because he has both of them in his flex.
Okay.
So he's starting Neighbors in his flex, which is probably a good idea. And
And
then the question, from what I'm gathering, is does he start McConkey in the second flex and risk him not playing, or one of the other two guys?
I think McConkey's too good to worry about, and Velvet and Westbrook are not good enough, So and also if it's the Monday night, I'm sure you can figure it out. If McConkey's out, maybe Josh Palmer's available, or seven, yeah.
I mean, if you have flex, maybe Will Dissly will be out there if nobody's picked him up for a tight end. If you can plug him in flex play.
Yeah. Also, Isaiah likely is an opportunity. I feel like your ceiling with McConkey's way higher, so I'm just kind of gonna.
Yeah, likely might be on waivers in your standard 12-team leagues. He definitely might be on waivers at this point. He's been really, really inconsistent this season.
He should be on waivers. He's been terrible since week 1 when he's my number 1 waiver priority. All right, moving on. Steve in Greece. Good morning. Many bye weeks and soft start by Pickens. God, that Pickens. That was so frustrating. Looking for advice on 2 flex, 1 tight end, full PPR. All right, 2 flex, 1 tight end. So tight end, Disley Jonu. Wow, let's just start there. Because Disley is Anthony's boy, and then Brian loves him some Jonu. Where do you have Disley ranked this week, Brian?
He's at 9.
9? Okay, so you got Jonu comfortably ahead. Anthony, what about you? I mean, it's a great matchup for both.
Jonu more than Disley for me, I think. But that's really close. I might mess around and start both of them in downs and call it a day, to be honest.
Let's get to the second part. So we got 2 flexes. So Jennings, I think we can rule out the Jennings. We don't want San Fran guys with Brandon Allen, right?
I wouldn't start Jennings.
I am starting Jennings in the league pretty comfortably, but
over Ladd and Josh Downs?
Probably not over them too. I would, and even I don't know where I have Dowdle ranked. Dowdle, I'm always like higher than consensus on just because he gets work. And like he's the most likely one to score there. But I mean, tight end for 2 flexes, yeah, I'm just going Downs McConkey.
Yeah, Downs McConkey. And then tight end is tough, man. You're probably going to get a good game either way. You just got 2 bad secondaries. Jonu's both are like 4th options, maybe.
Disley's actually low-key, I think, been the first passing option. Here's what I'm doing, though, because I'm thinking about it. I'm starting McConkey, Downs, and Jonu. Just in case McConkey doesn't play, you have Disley to plug in your flex spot.
Smart. Yep.
That is why you get paid the big bucks. Yes, that is what you should do. Say that again, Anthony.
If this was my team, obviously you make your own decision. But if you're asking questions, I think that you start Jonu in tight end, Downs as a flex, and you start McConkey as your other flex. Just in case McConkey doesn't play, you have what would be an even better option then with Disley to plug in your second flex spot to cover for McConkey, who would then just take on more of McConkey's work and be an even better play. But that's what I do, just to kind of hedge your bet there with McConkey.
That might be the best advice we've given on the pod all season. All right. You're welcome. All right. Cam, we got to wrap up. Certainly. Cam Daddy. Oh, so many. All right. Is that Super Saiyan? Okay. All right. We'll give you some time. Ertz, Goddard, Jonnu Smith this time. Rest of the season, who are you picking? Okay. Well, Goddard's getting the bump just because DeMonte's out, right? And Ertz is old. So Jonnu Smith rest of the season, right?
Yeah.
And then this week also probably Jonnu Smith or Goddard. Yeah.
I'm going Jonnu, but Goddard to also probably a top 5 play with Smith out.
Can't go wrong either way. I probably go Goddard because at least I know he's going to be in that top 3 for targets, right? They still got Tyreek, a Chain. They got a lot of guys. Anthony, you making you gonna fight us?
No, it's definitely between Goddard and Jonu. I don't have a strong indication either way. So I'll leave it with what you guys said with that.
Yeah, they're both probably pretty good. Okay. Super CMB challengers. Yo, Tua or Gino this week? I mean, if you've been listening to the pod, It's Tua. Right? Tua? Everyone's Tua? Tua town?
I
Yeah.
would go Gino.
After all the stuff Brian just said?
Yeah, I'd personally go Gino.
All right.
Yeah.
Live your life. All right. Me and Brian are Tua. Anthony's Gino. Yeah, probably. Yeah, Gino at home. Arizona is not bad. You're going to get 300 yards, but are you going to get the 2 TDs? Right? Okay. And then he also says Hubbard or Downs PPR. Downs. I mean, Hubbard is KC. It's one of the worst matchups possible. Sure, you might get some checkdowns as negative game script, but we're also got Jonathan Brooks who said he's going to play. Obviously, he's not going to get 20 touches, but
I heard Brooks is not on a snap count this morning. I saw that, but I mean, I don't think he's going to get 20 touches either, but I guess the door is open there, but I think Downs is probably the play here.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, Anthony, so you got the bet, you got the DraftKings?
Yeah, I got the Patriots Dolphins line.
Okay, so let's say Tua, what are the Tua yards? Tua passing yards.
It's absurd, but 360.
It just refreshed on me, but there's no way it's going to surpass Brian's 360. I don't think anybody's ever projected to get 300 passing yards for their over under.
You really bet 360, Brian?
I do.
Brian, I have $100 bet that I'm about to parlay. My $100 bet credit. I'm about to make the world's biggest AJ Brown Tua passing yards bet. So
let's see. Hang on, it's back up now. That was weird. Okay, Tua passing yards over under 251.5.
Wow. Okay. Bet the farm. Okay. What's Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and then I want Devon A. left receiving.
Everyone's
you want everyone's receiving props? Okay, the receiving props for you want receptions or yards?
Yards.
Yards. Tyreek Hill 65.5.
Brian, what do you got him?
97.5.
Waddle's 40.5.
93.
And Attain?
Etienne receiving yards is 32.5.
45.
Okay, wow, it's okay. So
and just for good measure, Jonnu Smith's at 36.5.
Right.
66.
So Brian, what do you like? I'm going to back the model because I'm feeling it this week. But what's the worst case scenario other than like a Tua concussion? Like they run it down their throat.
I mean, I have A-Chain in a bunch of leagues, so that's fine by me if they run it down their throat. I mean, I do think this is like I don't think they're getting 360, but I think if the numbers and like the matchup kind of give me this type of output, I'm just gonna then look at the number and say, all right, I'm 110 over on the passing. I'm pretty comfortable with that over. And then obviously if I'm 110 over for Tua, I'm going to be over on every wide receiver.
Yeah.
One thing to note is there's not that many touchdowns included. So a lot of their points are yardage based. So I only have them projected one passing touchdown. It's just a lot of, I think the Dolphins have been getting a lot of field goals recently, and New England's been giving up a bunch of field goals, hence why the yardage per point totals are a bit higher. So this is kind of a low key play. This leads me to think their kicker is going to go off, which just because that's kind of both these teams have been playing that way.
But so let's say you're talking to a degenerate gambler. I'm asking for a friend. How would you rank the bets for this game?
I'm probably most comfortable with the Tua over. Because receiving yards Tyreek could go for 200 if he wanted, or like A-Chain could go for 100. You just never exactly know where that's going to go. The QB line's a bit more easy to project because unless Tua's hurt, that's the QB that's getting the passing yards.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we got to wrap up because we're close to 12. We got a bunch of stuff still to do. Anthony, you got any last words of wisdom?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've got anything this week. Just happy to be here talking ball.
Okay, Brian, what about you? You've convinced all these people to bet their mortgage on these Dolphin passing props. Any hedge? Last minute hedge? Last minute Eagles hedge? How do you feel about my AJ Brown Tua passing parlay I'm about to send you?
I mean, I think it's funny that my top 6 flex plays are 2 Dolphins, 2 Eagles, 2 Lions.
Okay.
You got Hill, A-Chain, Barkley, St. Brown, Gibbs.
Not Montgomery?
Wow.
I mean, Montgomery's pretty close behind, but no, I mean, I have Gibbs over Montgomery just because of passing down work.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So that's you're getting everyone game. You got Lions, Dolphins, and
Eagles.
Eagles. Oh my.
Eagles, Rams. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, it's kind of a sneaky good fantasy week. Last week was crazy. This week the games aren't that great, but according to Brian and his model, they are actually going to be even better. So thanks everyone for watching. If we didn't get to your question, hit me up on Discord. I will check it out shortly. Otherwise, you can also drop a question on the Twitter feed. But otherwise, next week, I think, Brian, we're going to do a Wednesday show. Does that work for you?
It should work for me.
All right. Check us out Wednesday. We usually go Thursday. We're going to go Wednesday. Probably same time, same place, same bad channel. All right. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Brian. We are out. Best of luck, everybody.
Yeah, good luck this week, everyone.